It's time to predict the Europa League quarterfinals. Hello guys, welcome back to yet another video. We are doing the Europa League quarterfinal first leg predictions today. Of course, we will be back next week doing the second legs. And if you've not already checked out our Champions League first leg predictions video, then go check that out. We put that out just a day or two ago. There's some massive games coming up. Of course, there's a lot to play for. There's a place in the semi-finals up for grabs for each of these teams. And to be honest, I thought the draw was really interesting. There's some really good matchups here, and there's going to be some really close games. Some of them could go to penalties in the second legs. As always, share your predictions down in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are on these 4 Europa League first leg games. Make sure, of course, to drop a like on this video. We're going for 999 likes. It's free to do. Come on, click that like button, show us some support, and make sure while you are there that you've hit the subscribe button so you see all of our videos. We've had quite a few people asking in the comments of previous videos if myself and Sophie are going to be doing predictions for the Euros, Euro 2024. We are. So make sure to subscribe when that rolls around in June. With all of that said, let's get into the predictions, and we're going to start in Germany. It's Bayer Leverkusen versus West Ham United. I like this. What a matchup this is. Let's start with the home team. Bayer Leverkusen are flying this season. Top of the Bundesliga, Xabi Alonso is a wanted man, but he has pledged his allegiance to Bayer Leverkusen for another season. And there's so much positivity there. Why can't they go on and do well in the Europa League? Well, standing in their way is West Ham United of the Premier League. And West Ham have done well in Europe yet again. After winning the Europa Conference League last season, it really does look like they could go quite far in this competition. They've made it to the final 8. This is definitely their trickiest game so far, but I don't think West Ham United should be written off. I've seen quite a few people saying West Ham United don't have a chance, and I don't think that's fair. I do agree with Bayer Leverkusen being the favourites, of course, because they're doing so well in the Bundesliga this year, and they've got some great players playing some great football. But West Ham United can be a threat, and they carry a threat, and they can take points off top Premier League teams. We've seen them go away to Arsenal and beat them in the Premier League this season. That's not to say West Ham United will definitely win this game, because they do have some vulnerabilities, but I certainly think they can give it a go. In the previous round, Bayer Leverkusen got past Karabag. It wasn't straightforward, if we're going to be honest. Karabag nearly took them out. Bayer Leverkusen did seem to rotate a little bit, but they just got over the line. Karabag really did give them a scare. And as for West Ham United, they lost 1-0 to Freiburg in the first leg, but came back strong, thumping them at the London Stadium to get through to face Bayer Leverkusen. And it's another trip to Germany for the West Ham United fans. This one is even harder than the last. And I'm sure West Ham United's fans would be happy getting a draw here. Even just losing by 1 goal, they'd still have a chance going back to the London Stadium. West Ham United, with the bookmakers, are the 5th favourites to win the Europa League this year, whereas Bayer Leverkusen are the 2nd favourites, of course, behind Liverpool, who are strong favourites. Bayer Leverkusen have scored plenty of goals in the Europa League this year. Schick is on 5 goals, Boniface on 4 goals. As for West Ham United, Paqueta's on 4 goals, Mohamed Kudus is on 5 goals in the Europa League this year. I'm tempted to go for Bayer Leverkusen, but do you know what? I'm going to go for a little bit of a surprise here. I'm going to say West Ham United are going to get a draw and make it all to play for going back to the London Stadium. It's not impossible, and I don't understand why West Ham United are being written off so much in this one. I reckon they might get a draw. 1-1 is my prediction here. Bayer Leverkusen 1, West Ham United 1. Yes, Bayer Leverkusen have been fantastic this season, but that's a little surprise from me. I'll go for a draw. David Moyes masterclass. Maybe they'll get a draw and go back to the London Stadium with it all to play for. Share your thoughts on that one. Next up then, and we've got Benfica versus Marseille. Interesting. I think they've both got a good chance of getting through here. Just like we said in the Champions League video when it's Atletico Madrid versus Borussia Dortmund, these two, Benfica and Marseille, are 2 of the least favourites to go on and win the Europa League, but they've both got a chance of getting to the semi-finals here. The bookmakers are making Benfica the 8th favourites to win the competition, so the least favourites. Marseille, the 6th favourites. Now, Benfica did well in the last round. They got past Rangers, winning at Ibrox, which, to be honest, did surprise me, so fair play to them. As for Marseille, they got past Villarreal in the last round. So many goals in that game. Marseille currently sit 7th in Ligue 1. They've got Aubameyang, who's on 9 goals in the Europa League this year, which is crazy. As for Benfica, they're currently fighting with Sporting Lisbon for the Portuguese title, and they've got Rafa, Di Maria. They've both got good players here. I'm going to go for another 1-1 draw. I'm sitting on the fence again, not a lot to separate the two in my opinion. Benfica will be looking to try and win, of course, with the home advantage. It will be tricky for them to go to Marseille and win, but they did do that at Rangers, so let's go for a draw, 1-1. What's your thoughts on that game? Next up then, and we head to Anfield for Liverpool versus Atalanta. Liverpool, of course, fighting for the Premier League title this season. Jurgen Klopp's last season, how many times are we going to say it? But the narrative is there. How many trophies can he rack up in his final season? They've already won the Carabao Cup, of course, and they are the bookmakers' favourites to win the Europa League. Outright favourites. Atalanta coming in as the 7th favourites to win the competition. I am going along with the idea that Liverpool will win the Europa League. I don't think it'll be easy. I'm under no illusions of that, but I can see why they are the favourites. In the Europa League this year, Nunez has scored 5, Salah has scored 4. Liverpool smashed Sparta Prague in the last round. As for Atalanta, they just got past Sporting Lisbon. They're currently 6th in the Serie A, and Luis Muriel is on 4 goals in the competition for them this season. I'll go with Atalanta to score, but I can't see past Liverpool, and if it's anything like what they did to Sparta Prague, it will be convincing and game over after the first leg. I'll go Liverpool 3, Atalanta 1. I'll go Liverpool win fairly comfortably. Going away to Italy won't be easy, but I think they'll have enough of a cushion and they're a good enough team to get through. And we must say, of course, that the final for this competition is being held in Dublin, where I can see it being at least 80% Liverpool fans. I think Liverpool have got a real good chance of winning the Europa League. And what a way that would be for Jurgen Klopp to bow out on, winning the Europa League and potentially still winning the Premier League as well. So Liverpool 3, Atalanta 1. What's your predictions for that one? The final game then is an all-Italian matchup, and we've got AC Milan versus Roma. This is a really great matchup. God knows, I think this will be a really interesting one. They've both got a good chance of getting through. AC Milan are the favourites for me and with the bookmakers, but there's not a lot in it. AC Milan are the 3rd favourites to go on and win the Europa League, with Roma as the 4th favourites. AC Milan beat Slavia Prague in the last round, whereas Roma got past Brighton, beating them heavily in the first leg 4-0, losing the second leg 1-0, but I suppose it didn't really matter. Of course, both teams are in the same division, the Serie A. AC Milan currently 2nd, Roma 5th at the time of recording this. In the Europa League this year, Lukaku has scored 7 goals for Roma. AC Milan have entered the Europa League through finishing 3rd in their Champions League group, and it was a tough Champions League group for AC Milan, of course. Let's not forget they were with Newcastle, Borussia Dortmund and PSG. So to finish 3rd was actually not too bad. And I think they'll win this first game, but I think it'll be close. I'm going to go AC Milan 2, Roma 1, which means there'd still be quite a lot to play for going into that second leg, but I do just make AC Milan the slight favourites, so I'm going for them to win this one by 1 goal. What's your thoughts on AC Milan versus Roma? So then, guys, that wraps up my first leg of the Europa League quarter-final predictions. Get your predictions down in the comments. Once again, of course, there is a lot to play for, and some of these games are really hard to separate. Yes, my prediction for the Bayer Leverkusen West Ham game is a little bit of a surprise, but I don't see why West Ham can't get a draw. Benfica Marseille, I think, is a close one, and I do think Liverpool will beat Atalanta, and I'm going to go for AC Milan to just beat Roma. As well as sharing your predictions for the first leg of the Europa League quarterfinals, feel free to comment down below who you think is going to win the competition outright. I can't really see past Liverpool, but if Bayer Leverkusen get to the final as well, I think that'd be a really good matchup. Jurgen Klopp versus Xabi Alonso. What a final game that would be for Jurgen Klopp. Like I say, share your predictions. If you've enjoyed the video as well, make sure to drop a like. We're going for 999 likes. As I say, it's free to just click the like button, and it's also free to click the subscribe button, and you're doing me a massive favour. It supports the video and helps the channel grow. We will be back predicting the Europa League second legs next week, and we'll see how many of the first leg predictions we got right. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Peace out.